Hey everyone, and we're back, and this time is going to be my review on the fourth installment in the Terminator franchise. And today I'm going to talk and review Terminator Salvation. It came out in 2009, which I think is a decent film. I really like this film. I really like Terminator Salvation, and I'm just gonna show you the Blu-ray. This is the custom made Blu-ray Terminator Salvation. But if you flip side, you can see T600, the cyborg that was used in this movie. You know, I do have the director's cut disc, which I'll show you. This is the director's cut Terminator Salvation. It's actually director's cut. There are actually two cuts. The theatrical cut is 1 hour 55 minutes long. It's PG-13. This cut is rated R and it's 3 minutes longer, so it's one hour and 58 minutes in the movie. The running time. And yeah, by the way, this is the back. If you're wondering, it's a custom made. But I'm fine with it. I enjoy this film. I'm glad I do have this film in my collection for Terminator. This is the disc, showing you again. And yeah, this movie gets a lot of hate. People hate it because there's no Arnold Schwarzenegger in the film, directed by MCG, and of course was written by I think was John Brancato who wrote the script, but I can't find it on this cover. John Brancato and Michael Ferris was written and directed by MCG. MCG directed TV show. He directed that TV show, a pilot, Fastlane. I think he directed. This is War with Tom Hardy, which I do have that from Blu-ray. I think he directed 3 Days to Kill with Kevin Costner. MCG, he also directed Charlie's Angels with Cameron Diaz, 1 and 2. Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. I think I only saw bits and pieces of the sequel, but I did watch the original film because I used to have a VHS tape. But yeah, now to the movie Terminator Salvation. Like I said, it's a good Terminator movie. It's a really good. I think this movie gets the same crap as T3. Rise of the Machines gets the same bullshit crap. To me, I would say they're both equal. They're both equal, and it's hard to choose which one I would rank. Which one I will put above, because it's really hard. Because both movies are good. Both movies, I think, are underrated, are good. Just I think that the T3 Rise of the Machines is most underrated Terminator movie ever. So I probably put this movie above this one, but doesn't mean that's bad. It's not bad. It's a good movie. Might say better than this garbage movie, Genesis or Dark Fate, dark dog shit, dark Vogue, dark shit. I hate that 2019 garbage film. At least this movie was better. And yeah, Arnold was when they actually did Genesis, which they rebooted the first two movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I saw his interview, with Emilia Clarke, and I think was Jason Clarke in it, and like Arnold was, Salvation sucked, they didn't do it on me, Arnold Schwarzenegger was not in the film because he was that time governor of California. He couldn't be. His schedule was tight, so he couldn't come to make a cameo appearance. He barely even make it for the Expendables. He couldn't because he was governor of LA. He couldn't do it. Okay, California. I was going to say both, but he couldn't do it. But he decided to diss this movie. But Genesis, in his opinion, is better. I disagree, Arnold. That movie is garbage. But this movie did show respect because they put an actor and they remodeled him by the finale, as Arnold, in CGI, they remodeled him, and the actor was Ronald Kitzinger as CGI Arnold, T-800 in Skynet by the finale, so they did show the respect for this movie. And I wasn't a fan of this movie, I did not saw this movie in movie theater. I saw Rise of the Machines in movie theater. Did not saw this movie. I did not saw this movie, but I saw Rise of the Machines. But when I saw this movie, I was not fan. I hated it because it was completely different than like all the three Terminator movies. Because if you remember, Terminator movies are always dealing with paradox, time traveling, sending a cyborg, stone cold killing machine cyborg in the past, find the target and eliminate the target, But this movie was different, and that time was not fan, mostly because there were too much CGI in the film. But comparing it now, with Genesis, I'm just calling it Genesis, and dog shit, I can say this movie is better. I'll take this movie, the last good Terminator movie. Yes, this is the red sequel to T2 Judgment Day and T3 Rise of the Machines. And we see now how the future is, This movie doesn't deal with paradox and time travel, and it shows the future, how it's meant to be, by the end of the third movie, we actually did got Judgment Day. We finally did got Judgment Day. And in this movie, it's now the year 2018, and it shows how dark the future is, after Judgment Day. And before I go in the story, the cast, Christian Bale, Christian Bale takes over the role for John Connor. Nick Stahl from T3 was not interested. He rejected and he passed the role for John Connor. He didn't want to return. Clara Danes also didn't want to return. So they hired this actress, Charlotte Gainsbourg, to play Kate Connor, the wife of John Connor. But Charlotte, I was just going to say, Charlotte Gainsbourg had to reject the part, because of schedule conflict between other films she was doing, so she had to reject the role. So the last minute they actually hired the Bryce Dallas Howard, the actress. She was in Spider-Man 3. She played Gwen Stacy, and she was also in Jurassic World and Jurassic World Forgotten Kingdom. She was also in those two movies. Bryce Dallas Howard, she took the role of Kate Connor in this movie. Michael Ironside also took the role for General Ashdown, who was in the Human Resistance. He was in the Human Resistance against the Skynet. Michael Ironside previously, he was actually he played Richter in Total Recall, and he also played the bad guy in Highlander 2. But this movie he plays the good guy who doesn't believe in John Connor or his cause. Also, we see young Kyle Reese, played by Anton Yelchin. Rest in peace, poor actor. Anton Yelchin passed away in 2016, June 19. And this is the most saddest day of my life, because the same day Anton Yelchin passed away, my dad was rushed in the hospital. My dad is still alive, but poor Anton Yelchin is not alive anymore, and I miss him. I enjoy him in the remake of Fright Night. A lot of people hated the movie. I enjoy Fright Night, the remake. I thought Anton Yelchin as Charlie Brewster did a great job, Rick, I thought he did a great job. I thought he did a great job, I thought Anton Yelchin did a good job. He did great job. I mean, Yeah, he did. The actor did a great job. Yeah, I really miss him. He played Kyle Reese. He studied Michael Bean's performance. He wanted to make perfectly of Kyle Reese, so that was awesome. I miss Anton Yelchin so much. I mean, he was the most he became the famous when he played that character in Star Trek trilogy. But I really miss Anton Yelchin. Rest in peace, because this review is actually going to be dedicated to Anton Yelchin. I'm gonna write that in my description if I don't forget. But this review is also in memory of Anton Yelchin, forgotten actor that I enjoy him in Fright Night remake that many people rented, and I enjoy him in this movie. Salvation. I enjoy him in this movie. Yeah, so the cast, in my opinion, did work fine. Also, Common from Street Kings is in this movie, and he plays the good guy. Barnes in in Street Kings, he played the bad guy. Common. He was also in John Wick Chapter 2. Excuse me. Common was also in John Wick Chapter 2. He fought John Wick, Keanu Reeves in that movie. He did excellent job. Common, this movie did a good job. And this movie is not Aliens, but it's a really good movie. MCG went to James Cameron and asked him how to do the movie, because the time James Cameron was filming Avatar, and Avatar, or how is it called, never saw that movie. But he recommended Sam Worthington to play this movie as Marcus, infiltration cyborg. So because actor Sam Worthington, he was recommended by James Cameron, he took the role of Marcus, which is awesome, which I enjoy him. Moon, I think was that actress, Moon Bloodgood is in this movie. She was in 8 Below with Paul Walker. So Moon Bloodgood is in this movie as a pilot in the Human Resistance. She's Blair Williams. She made Marcus in this movie. And also Helena Bonham Carter. I don't know that much about the actress, but she was in Miami Vice in season 3, episode 15 and 16. Teresa, the last one is Teresa, because I enjoyed that episode. She was only like 21 years old at the time. But yeah, I mostly remember her as Teresa in Miami Vice. Yeah, the rest of the cast, I don't know. I'm not familiar. Doesn't much know about them. But yeah, so directed by MCG. And of course, it's also written on here, page 13. So you can see closer, But Terminator Salvation, the fourth installment, in my opinion, is a good movie. It's a decent movie. There's not in this movie but T-600, which is actually those are T-600, steel cyborgs. They're actually called steel cyborgs in this movie. Except one twist, Marcus, who's a infiltration cyborg. And in the year 2003, Marcus Wright, a convict, when he killed his brother and 2 cops, he goes and donates he goes and donate because he's sent to death. He signs the donation papers, so his organs, are donated for better research, for Skynet. At that time, he doesn't know. He wakes up in 2018, where now it shows how the future is after Judgment Day has begun in 2004, and it shows 14 years later, from T3 now in this movie how the future is set, the humans and the resistance are fighting the cyborgs, they're fighting T-600 still cold steel cyborgs, those they look like this, T-600 they're fighting. during the fight, during the battle between the good and evil. John Connor, who leads the resistance in the war against the machines. Somehow, when he crashed with a helicopter, Marcus Wright woke up and he finds himself in the future that he doesn't remember anything about it. So now, while walking through the desert of the wasteland, he meets a young boy named Kyle Reese who saves his life, and Kyle Reese travels with young child, and her name was Jada Grace. Jada Grace, she plays Star. She's actually companion to Kyle Reese, and because he saves Marcus, and Marcus finds out that there was a war, and that there's actually there are actually Terminators. He becomes friends with Kyle Reese, and Kyle, when he puts the shotgun, Marcus took his shotgun away, but he gives him back. And I love that. The same scene that was in T2, in the open scene when Arnold walks with the biker clothes, with a leather jacket, and this guy goes with Winchester shotgun, fires in the air, says, "I'm not gonna give you," and Arnold goes and grabs the shotgun. Also, Marcus Wright, Sam Worthington does in this movie, and they decide to travel to LA. I think that I kind of forgot because I watched it last night and today, but I actually think they travel to Los Angeles. They actually both travel, and during the travel scene, Kyle Reese and Star, they actually get captured. They found another people who does not want to give them food, but they also get captured, and they by HK, in the first Terminator, when Hunter Terminators, I think was H I forgot how is it called, I think was Hunter robots. I'm just gonna call them Hunter robots. The one that Kyle Reese in the first movie was talking about. They were actually Hunter robots. Which they captured the humans and put them in Skynet for work. It's just like this movie also follows the roots from the first movie. Everything that Kyle Reese in the first movie told to Sarah Connor, that actually really happened. We see those Terminators, HK, or I forgot, Hunter robots, who are hunting humans, and they're actually need them to alive for work in Skynet, And Marcus is the one that escapes that Hunter robot, that's actually Hunter, those robots, those cyborg robots. He actually escapes, but he goes and escapes, but he goes and meets this girl, Moon Bloodgood. She plays Blair Williams, a pilot. He saves her. He starts walking because he needs John Connor, because he hears John Connor's voice over radio, and he needs to talk to John Connor because his friend Kyle and Star are captured by HK, Hunter robots, and they're bringing into Skynet. During I think Blair and Marcus, they also find a few scavengers, and Marcus goes and kicks everyone's ass but doesn't kill anyone, and they go through that minefield, and suddenly the mine goes and grabs Marcus, and he explodes. And we also see Kate Connor, played by Bryce Dallas Howard. She's actually a doctor, and they find out that Marcus is actually a robot. He's a twist. He's a cyborg, and he doesn't know who done this to him. Why was to him? He believes he's a human. And John is convinced. Connor is convinced that that Marcus is actually infiltration, is actually a cyborg, a Terminator, who wants to kill him, and he blames him for the death of Kyle and Sarah. But Marcus tells him Kyle is alive. He's going now. He's on the way to Skynet, and the only one that believes in him is actually Blair. And Blair, she obeys direct orders, and she saves Marcus because Marcus saved her. And I love the escape route that they go. They escape. There's like John Connor, played by Christian Bale, goes and fires with a machine gun on Marcus and misses him. I love that scene. They go into the water. There's like another cyborg grabs two pilots, but Marcus, saves John Connor in the water, and they make a deal. Marcus goes to Skynet and finds out that was actually Dr. Helena. Dr. Helena. Dr. Serena Coogan, played by Helena Bonham Carter, was the one that she did this to him. She donated the organs to Skynet, but she died. But now she's actually as a cyborg in the Skynet. And it turns out that Marcus was actually infiltrated cyborg, and was the only one that Skynet never succeeded to kill John Connor. And I love when Marcus decides to turn against Skynet, and I love when Skynet tells him, you're not gonna save him. And I just love when Marcus says, just watch me. I love that. Sam Worthington was perfect. He did great job as Marcus. This movie is serious. It doesn't have a humor. It doesn't have a comedy. It's a serious movie, and no fancy, just cold steel cyborgs. T-600 in this movie is awesome. It's fantastic in this movie. It's awesome. And while in Skynet, we see the T-800 are now built new Terminators. And like I said, one of the Terminators is Arnold, and that's in that CGI. The actor Roland Kunziger. He was CGI Arnold who also went and fight John Connor. And I love when John Connor makes him like freeze, and the guy goes and scratches John Connor, says, "Go ahead, you son of a bitch!" And Christian Bale looks like Tom Cruise. He looks like Tom Cruise. Say, "You son of a bitch!" He looks like Tom Cruise. He screams like Tom Cruise in this movie. And you know what? That's awesome in my opinion. That's awesome in my opinion. I enjoyed it. John. He tries to convince the resistance. General Ashdow and his men in the submarine. He tries to convince them not to launch an attack on Skynet because Kyle Reese is in there. If they destroy Skynet, there are actually other prisoners, and he launches a rescue mission. This movie, and he does. He sends a rescue mission. He goes and launches his own rescue mission. He goes alone. There also, I forgot to mention. There's also a song from Guns N' Roses. He called "Be Mine." This movie he uses as a radio, and goes and there's also motorcycle cyborgs. He captures one of the motorcycle cyborg, and he uses him as a motorcycle vehicle, which is awesome. Yes, the song is called "Be Mine's" played. Linda Hamilton does return this movie as uncredited role, but she landed the voice from Sarah Connor from T1, the Terminator, my favorite Terminator film. And she provided the voice, which everything that happened, and you can also hear the voices. Her voices from the first movie. And also, when Blair says you're not gonna destroy, and you know what John says? John says, "It." Remember the special edition or Skynet edition T2 Judgment Day, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, when Sarah tries to destroy Arnold's ship, from T-800, she tries to destroy the chip. And I love that time, when John grabs the chip and says no, and she almost hit John in the hand, and she says it. Yeah, but we do need it, and I love that. John was so wise in the movie. In this movie, he says it. So yes, it's a true sequel to T2 Judgment Day. It's a true sequel to the Terminator. It's a true sequel to the third movie. It doesn't fuck up Judgment Day. It doesn't have humor. Just no fancy, but real cyborgs. Still cold, nothing but cold steel cyborgs. It's one twist, and that's Marcus. One twist, it's Marcus. And the fight against Skynet is still in the set. And this is the year 2018. You already passed that year, my word, but yeah, it's 2018. And there's a war. There's still a war. And I love when John Connor has been in a war long time. And I love when John, doesn't trust anyone. This movie, any of the cyborgs, the same as the resistant leaders does not trust John, but many of the humanity starts to trust John when he asks them not to launch the Skynet attack, and they don't. They don't launch an attack because they listen John Connor, no one else. He's the true leader, and I love that. And I love the fight scene between T-800 and John Connor. I love when Marcus fights him, kicks ass. Marcus kicks ass, saves John. John saves Kyle Reese and Star. And Kyle Reese finally earns to be in the resistance, in the war under John Connor's guidance, And John is dying, and Marcus decides to help John by giving his heart out. I also love when the escape scene, when Blair, helps Marcus to escape. I love that. Marcus and Blair are running. They're like being under fire. I really love that. I think that Moon Bloodgood, I think was Moon Bloodgood or Bloodgood did a good job, as Blair Williams. She did a good job. The song was the music score was I think was Danny Elfman from Batman 1989. Danny Elfman did a music score for this movie. I did the music score. So that was awesome. This one, Casualty Loop with no seat belts, so hold on. Casualty Loop in movie experience. I'm gonna redo this. In movie experience, John director MCG, John director MCG and his special effects Terminator team for behind the cameras, thorough state-of-the-art sci-fi action movie making while watching the film itself, and that's right in those lines. I forgot to mention, but Stan Winston, rest in peace, he died in 2008, but he provided the final time the special effects for Terminators. Yes, he passed away. This movie is dedicated in memory of Stan Winston, and my review is dedicated in memory of Anton Yelchin. Remember him as young Kyle Reese. And this movie was released the same time as Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles TV show was cancelled. And yes, I enjoyed the TV show. I really enjoyed the TV show. Thomas Dekker played young John Connor, while in this movie, Christian Bale plays John Connor. And if you pass Christian Bale's voice, just like in the Dark Knight trilogy, that his voice is lower, if you pass his voice, it's actually really entertaining, kick-ass sci-fi action film. And I love that it's not a repeat of the first two movies. I love that it's not that's not a bad film. Excuse me. I love that it's not. I love that. I love that it's awesome. I love that this movie is awesome. That sci-fi film. It's filled with action, and it's like Reese. Marcus tries to survive. He just tries to survive. Just try to get by, and he tries to get with a vehicle. Through the city of LA, everything which is now a wasteland, and he and Kyle and Star just try to survive, and I really enjoyed that. I think the MCG did a great job directing this film. And no, Arnold, I don't agree with you. This movie sucked. That you said that time in 2015. Your movies, Terminator, Genocide suck, or shits. Or your new movie, Dark Grab Fate, sucks. Those two movies are piece of garbage, which I'm gonna review soon. Those two are garbage. This is actually the final good Terminator movie. T-600 are great. They're cyborgs. They're great. There's like a helicopter. The helicopter movement with John Connor was awesome. I mean, it's different than the first three movies, but I enjoy this film. I enjoy this movie. I think the special effects and visual effects are great. For the cyborgs, the CGI also work. They work well. The cast story is great in my opinion. The action scenes are fantastic. Christian Bale as John Connor did a good job. He's great. Marcus Wright, played by Sam Worthington, was fantastic. I enjoy Sam Worthington as Marcus Wright. Love the guy to death in this movie. Bryce Dallas Howard from Spider-Man 3, Jurassic World 1 and 2 is great as Kate Connor. Claire Danes did not want to return, so they cast Charlotte Gainsbourg, but she had to leave the project during conflict and schedule for the other movie. So Bryce Dallas Howard from Spider-Man 3 was in this movie, which is awesome. Moon Bloodgood from 8 Below, which I love 8 Below, was awesome. She was great. Rick, come here. Rick. I'm calling my dog, But yeah, Moon Bloodgood as Blair Williams was great. She was awesome. She was great. She was awesome. The cast was great. The action scenes are still great. The designs and the visual effects for T-600 are great. They're awesome. They're, like I said, cold steel cyborgs. I have to keep repeating because it's so great, I don't think this movie is one of the greatest films, but it's a good movie. It's a decent movie. It's a good Terminator movie. The last good Terminator movie. The next two sequels, I don't wanna even mention that they don't even exist. But this movie gets a lot of hate, This movie gets a lot of hate. A lot of hate this movie gets. I don't know why this movie gets so much hate. Because there's no Arnold. He's in CGI by actor Roland Kilsinger. And I forgot to mention, but the budget for this movie was $200 million. The same budget as T3, Rise of the Machines. They're both expensive to make this movie. Worldwide was $371 million. It made less money than the third one, but that's still awesome. I mean, MCG did a great job. Danny Elfman did a good music score for Terminator, and it's serious, and it feels like a true sequel to T1, T2, and T3. It feels like a true sequel and the final sequel. Because the next two movies, one is a reboot, the other is a repeat of the first movie. I respect that they don't repeat the first two movies. They don't fuck Judgment Day. I respect that. And Terminator Salvation. I mean, what can I say? Besides, I already said what I like about the film. But my favorite scene will be the motorcycle when Connor puts that booby trap for the motorcycle Terminator and puts a trap in the song, and he plays the song "You Could Be Mine" by Guns N' Roses. That will be my favorite scene in the film. But yeah, anyway, I'm actually past through the review. I already said what I had to say. We'll be reviewing, by the way, it's gonna be a rant on Terminator Genesis and Dark Fate, but that I'm gonna do tomorrow. Not gonna do today. I still have to prepare, but I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Anyway, have a good Friday, and I wish you a good weekend, everyone. And we'll see you in the next review, and that's gonna be Terminator Genesis 2015. So stay tuned to see tomorrow for that video. Anyway, I'm out, and I wanna say peace, everyone, and I'll see you